Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Good morning, Mark. Morning, Bob.
Morning.
Joe. Morning, Bob.
How's everybody doing?
I am
We're wide up.
fantastic and amazing.
Well, it rubs off.
Exciting for our guests. The guests we have this morning.
And I am going to, I'll wait, Bob. I'll do it as we move along and see. I'm hoping that I have this screen set to open when I screen share. We'll find out. I'm pretty sure I do. So anyway, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. We're going to get started right away today with Bob Coons. And Bob is an accomplished businessman. He is you know what? For us, he is a dedicated partner. I tell you, I've just learned to appreciate his help and input, and it's been great. I'm looking forward today because this can help everyone continue to climb here and get yourself in a successful position in business. So, Bob Coons, welcome today, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Alrighty, let me know when you want me to screen share. We're going to leave you up there and take it away, and we'll be ready to go.
Okay, last time we kind of got cut off because my phone died on me. So I want to go back to what we were talking about with white paper and blue ink, and I want to move forward on that. And the fact it's not just white paper and blue ink, which is a specific. It's really a mindset.
Bob, let me interrupt you for a second. I know we're having a little bit of technical difficulty with microphones today. Just back up a little bit because probably we're getting sound, producing sounds just probably because you're a little close to that mic. I know you're trying to get as loud as we can here, but just back up a little. We're getting, with the P's and T's, they're bouncing off the microphone.
How's that?
Good. We're good.
How's this?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, so let's go back to white paper and blue ink. I know it's a specific and it's what you write with. There is one exception to it. When you're writing in your daytime or you're setting an appointment, you do that in pencil. And the reason why is because you may have to change that. The only reason you want to use the blue ink is to plant something in your subconscious, to train you. You'll find by writing with it, you actually remember more by writing with blue ink. But there's another cause behind this. For years now, I've had one insurance agent, and when I go into his office and sit down, he closes the door and he shuts off all other distractions. Basically, he's starting with a clean white sheet with me, and he listens intently to me. So when you're working with people in the field and you're talking to them, their information they're giving you is the most important, and you need to have an open mind to what's coming in. See, people will tell you what they want. They will tell you their why. They will tell you their want. And it went really quiet. Joe? I can't hear a thing. Anyway, let's see if I'm still talking. I think I can see the chat box. And so they tell you what they want. One of the things from ancient writings, and most of us have been taught, that the wisest man in the world asked for wisdom. In the original language, the words that were actually meant, he wanted to be able to hear and increase his understanding. So like I said earlier, to be really willing to help people, you have to be willing to listen first. And when you go in and you ask them certain questions and you understand who they are, again, they will tell you exactly what they want. And by going over that and then you ask them more and more questions, you learn more about them and you have the ability to help them. This is really weird. I can't hear. Well, the other part of this is we talk about knowing who we are.
Bob, just so you know, we do hear you. It's because I'm muting my own microphone.
Okay, it was a little unnerving because I'm listening to the noises of feedback. Okay. What I do when I sit down and I talk to people, I listen to them. Now, I have some what they call neuro-linguistic programming training. And there are three levels to that. And one is a visual, where people talk in pictures, which 55% of Americans do. And then you have 25, which is auditory, and you have another 15% are all on feeling. If you listen to how they tell their story, you can actually pick up on what you need to give back to them, on how you need to give back to them. If they saw it first, and then they went and they listened to it, and then they touched it, if you will duplicate that in giving back that information to them, you have a whole lot higher receptibility. They will understand because you are now talking their language. That's the communication part. But see, it requires listening. That's the biggest part is, you're given 2 ears and 1 mouth. I've heard for years we need to use those proportionately. It's most important that they know that you care about them. That's the first step in communicating and moving forward. Now, the second thing is that you need to get comfortable with who you are. And I know that some of this that I'm going to expose today is a little different. Some of it's come out of the new Psycho-Cybernetics book by Maxwell Maltz. And we'll get to that in a minute. And to step into this, we're going to talk about ancient text that says, as water answers the face. That used to be the only way that people could see who they were, was they looked in the water became a mirror. And so whatever you get in your mind to accept is telling yourself you need to go look in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror. That will release a lot of the challenges that you have with dealing with the phone. Years ago, I have a very creative grandchild, and I was listening to this story. I says, that is really interesting. I says, why don't you go tell that to the mirror in the bathroom and then come back and practice on me? And so he went in and he worked on that mirror for a while, and he tried convincing himself, and he says, Grandpa, this is hard. I says, yeah, I know. I says, because what you really are, what you truthfully are, the mirror tells you back. If you're truthful, the mirror will tell you. And so as part of this, that's what Maxwell Maltz talks about, is if you want to train yourself to where you can pick up the phone, face the hardest challenge. Go pick up your phone in your bathroom, talk to yourself in your mirror. And if you can get past the mirror, you can talk to anybody on the phone. The most challenging thing for all of us is we want to be accepted. And when you're talking to people on the phone, the easiest thing for them to do is say no. There are people who will drive to see somebody because saying no in face is a whole lot harder than what it is on the phone. And there's a famous comedian, and it's on page, so I'm going to give you the page just so you can go look this up. This isn't something that I made up. On page 248 of Psycho-Cybernetics, it talks about the fact that there was this comedian who couldn't get over talking to people. She was nervous about being in front of people. So she put 3 full-length mirrors in her bedroom and talked in front of those mirrors. Now, she threw another challenge in it. She did the whole thing while she was naked, because she figured if she could do it naked, she was completely exposed to the audience out there and she could handle it. Whatever you have to do to create your business and to move it forward, if your why, if your want is strong enough, you will overcome those obstacles. The ones that get ahead, the ones that build a future, are those that will overcome all those obstacles. The biggest thing is not what you gain out of this financially, but what you gain out of it personally in this growth, because it's a growth factor as you go forward. Now, Joe has some list of words that I sent him the other night, and there's a reason for this. And I don't know whether you can put them up now. I'll know here on the screen. But there's a good words, and then there's words that aren't quite as enhancing. I put them up.
Bob, just so you know, they're up on the screen now. Everybody should be seeing those. let's
Okay.
let's get some verification in the chat room and make sure everybody saw them, because I had to move back to the platform to talk. So I did have them up. This ask anybody. Ken Parr, did you see those when I had them up on a Word document? Mark, I'm going to go back to the screen, so just you can keep an eye on the chat for me, okay? Mark's on mute as well, by the way.
Well, now when the screens get up, I'm trying to watch it and I can see the window. I don't know if they're up yet or not. Joe's trying to put them up. What we found is by reading this list of words. Now they're done both in blue and black. There they are. Okay. We're not going to send these out. We talked about this. If you want them, you can go and you can screen share them or screen copy them off the internet later on when you go back to the YouTube channel. But if you will take in the morning and just read the blue words, remember we said in memory, you only put in what you want to remember. If you'll read those blue words, what it'll do is it'll increase your energy, increase your thinking process, and it'll make you a more positive person. See, people want to be around people who are positive, people who have something. You can attract more people in your life by using these words. My story on this was years ago. I was involved with a scrapbook business, and one lady came in there. She was very enterprising. She wanted to build the very best book out there, and she came to our scrapbook store. And she asked certain questions, and I looked at the book that was done before, and I says, and they did this for $185, and she says, yeah. I says, somebody lost some money, because see, I know what it costs to put a book together. She says, well, that may be. I just happen to think that somebody underwrote it, and not underwriting the letter, but they had actually produced money and gave it out as a book. They did that out of their energy, out of their heart. And so when I listened to that, I says, wow. I says, I used the phrase lost money. She used the phrase somebody underwrote it. And her phrase was a whole lot more acceptable to me. It was more acceptable to other people than what mine was. Mine was a negative. So these words, if you will take and read them, and Joe, I don't see them. They're bouncing around a little bit. We have one page. We didn't get to the second page. If you will read those every morning, it'll actually increase your energy when you're talking to people. It'll also start to get in your head, so you'll think this way, and more people will be attracted to you as far as what you want to get done. One of Maxwell Maltz's key principle, and he says on page 45 of his book, it's the most important statement of the whole book. Humans always act and feel in accordance with what they imagine to be true about themselves and environment.
Excuse me for Bob interrupting. I just want to make sure I'm seeing it on the screen, and I want to see if everybody else is seeing it. So if everybody else is seeing it, please put it in the chat box. Okay, see the page now, Robert. Okay, so everybody should be seeing it now.
There's one page. There's actually 5 or 6 of them. I don't know how they roll them. Can you help me out with that?
Well, Joe can roll them. They're rolling right now. He's rolling them.
Okay. There's a number of them. And I took and typed them up and put them in 2 columns for you so you can see how they compare with each one. And you'll be interesting. You'll see words that you're using, like some of the words out there is words are actually things, and so people look at these. When I listened to Jennifer earlier this week, she talked about the why and the want. And I have chosen the word why over want, because want you can finally grab. Why is a way of going continually. It'll keep you moving, keep you forward, keep driving you, because your energy is there. These words were taken out of a book called Power versus Force. Over the years, we've had powerful people, and you may not recognize them as powerful people, but they were. Like Mother Teresa was a powerful person. Mahatma Gandhi was a powerful person. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi in India refused on the British government. They finally gave up because he did it with peaceful opposition. Just kept going forward. They couldn't shut him down. And so power versus force, when you realize that you're talking to somebody and you indeed, because of how we're looking at currency, have a power that can't be taken away, that can't be eliminated, that can't be removed, is you have that power. When you exude that in your personality, this is why Joe and Mark talk about this isn't about selling gold. This is really about helping others gain control of their life. Joe and Mark have that power. I have power in other ways, and not with the gold, but that power comes out of me when I'm talking to people about what we're doing with Carrot Bars. For me, it's a freedom thing. It's absolute freedom, because for years I want the ability to choose. And when entities that are out there are taking that away from us, then I want the ability to make the difference, to go forward, to change lives. And I really want it for everybody. See, one of the emotions, one of the most negative energies out there is jealousy. And you'll find it. Network marketing for a long time was jealous because the people who made a lot of money moved into big homes next to the doctors and lawyers. And people says, and the doctors and lawyers just didn't want them there. They don't belong here. They don't belong in this class. They don't belong here. It was crazy, and it was all about jealousy. And so we saw a lot of lawsuits based upon that jealousy action. You want to rise above that. These words and learning them will help you rise above that. You have a definite heart for people, and you want to see them grow. You want to help them. Now, here's the other thing on this. If they don't accept you and what you're trying to do for them, that's okay. You must allow them an out. Because many times when you're talking to a person, it is so new, it is so outrageous an idea in their mind. For you, it's common nature, but for them, it's what? And they have to look at this and say, I have to think different about this. In 3 or 4 days, they'll come back. That's why the autoresponders work, is we give them information and just drip on them, and finally say, maybe I need to check that out. Maybe the timing wasn't right at the time, and they need to open their minds to it. So continually drip good stuff on people in helping them, letting them know that your heart is indeed right, and you can do this by training your mind. That's what the words are. I read books continually, as you can tell, because they're all over my house. There's probably 3 or 4 of them reading at the same time. It's part of what you want to do to help people. Today's environment doesn't read. Educating yourself is one of the most important things on being able to help others, because you learn and you say, gee, I read something about that. Oh, you did? And now they're interested because you have shown an interest in them. That's basically what this morning was about. Okay? Remember, white, when you go in to talk with somebody, the slate's completely clean. It's completely open. And you are there to listen to them. Take whatever they have to say, write it down in your mind. Follow through with it. And then what you put in your mind about them or on your paper, that's what you want to give them back. because in giving it back to them, you are now talking their language. People don't really care, and you've heard this many times, about how much you know. It's not important. It's how much you care, and the only way you can develop that is by listening. Um, Now, if there are questions, let's entertain them because I'm out of words today.
Okay, I'm off that screen share, and if you took some screenshots, you can do that while you look at the recording of those words, and we'll keep an eye on the chat here. So, Bob, it's back to that. I'm just glad you finished with that. People don't care how much you know; they don't know how much you care, and it's amazing to me that there's just so many people that in this business, they are selling is what they're doing when they're talking. And I know I was guilty of that for a long time. I didn't get the difference. I mean, I'd be out on appointments and sharing the information on how to get their financial house in order. That's what we did. It's my first company. And, I was focused on the sale. And yeah, we helped people and I showed them these things, but it was all flip chart stuff and it wasn't coming out of my mind. It was coming off a chart. You know what I mean? I don't know if I made that clear, but I was trying to show them so that at the end result they would say, oh, yes, I need this. I'll buy it. And the point is that when you show how much you care about this, I finally got it down and was able to help a lot of my friends, actually, believe it or not. I was a brother and family and helped my family legacy, to be honest with you, because what my dad was experiencing financially, he did very well in life, but he had a portfolio that was not doing very well, and what they thought was 2 or 3% on their money, and that's about what he was getting, which takes, at 2%, it takes 36 years to double your income or double your investment, to double that amount. And we changed that to 18%. During those years, we had the opportunity, and Mark will tell you now this doesn't exist today, but we were finding mutual funds that were averaging somewhere between 15 and 18%. You won't find that today, or at least you'll have a hard time.
That's correct. No, they're not there. And you won't get those multiplying factors anyway, because today's cost of going up with the reduction in currency value is you're actually losing at 2%. You're losing it even about 8% when the real numbers are in. You're not gaining, and that's what's sad, because people think dollars. When I first got involved with Karatbars, I sat on a thing, based upon would you rather have dollars or gold? And I had guys send back dollars. That's all they understood. And so they don't understand the gold. We're on an educational thing. They don't understand the fact that, like in business, you learn that the cost of sale is everything. And people say, what do you mean? It's not what you sell it for. It's what you buy it for that is the most important, because you need to know what your cost of sale is. Most businesses, and this is why what we do with Karatbars or any network marketing company, most businesses have at minimum a 33 1/3% hard cost, which means that's what it costs you for your raw materials. Beyond that, you spend close to 60% on what it costs you to sell the product, to warehouse the product, to do whatever, to have other people handle it. The owner of the business, let's say he invests $100,000, might be lucky if he gets $7,000 back at the end of the year. Those are the realities of it. So when we have this business that we have on helping and sharing with people, we actually put them in their home business at a whole lot less risk than you can ever do with a conventional business. They all want conventional businesses. It doesn't work. I've been there for years. You want something that keeps your cost of sale down and working from your home, working from home with the computer and the phone. You already have those costs, so essentially you're building your business for zero.
Hey, Bob, why don't you explain what you told me yesterday? We have a few more minutes left, so I want you to explain the analogy you use when someone, I think it was a friend of yours who.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I was in a shopping mall one time, and I've been in relationship marketing for some time. And I was talking to a chiropractor about it, and he got up with his righteous attitude. Well, we would never do that. I says, oh, interesting. I says, you would never do that. I says, so let me ask you a question about your business. And I says, when a client comes into you and you readjust their back and you get them to really feeling good, and they leave the place, you want them to tell all of their friends about it, right? He says, yeah, that's our business model. That's the way it's supposed to work. I says, from there, you want their friends to come in and feel your wondrous touch and go forward and tell their friends, right? Yeah, he says, you're right on track. That's how we build our business. I says, okay. I says, now, what would really be wonderful is this happened the fourth time, the fourth level down, right, where all those people would send more people to it. I says, you'd really have a going business, wouldn't you? He says, yeah, I really would. I says, well, here's the interesting part. I says, we pay people for doing that. You don't. And he looked at me. He says, you have a point. And go ahead, Joe.
No, it's all right. You're good.
That's the reality of what we have, is if people will go to work and they will share the enjoyment, and you can create that enjoyment in them by showing them that you care, you will have a system that'll never quit. But the key is you need to know what they want, you need to know how to help them, and you need really, and this is a big word out there, it's easy love and all the rest of the stuff, but you really need to love people. You need to have a desire to help them. You need to have something to help. Now, there's one key caveat here, is you need to also release them. Let's say, well, you go in and they say, well, I really don't know if this is for you or not. That's one form of a release. The other form of a release is you can say, it's 100% up to you. It's okay. My only job, my only thing that I need to know that I did right is I at least gave you the information. Is that all right if we go forward with this information based upon the fact you have a 100% chance of saying no, and that's okay. To say no is okay. It will open their mind. They'll open and they'll start to listen because they really think you're coming to sell them. Whether you have that as an intention, like Jennifer talked about, in your heart or not, they think that way. And you want to remove that. And so by making those simple statements, you remove that.
All righty. Well, good. This will be up on the recording, as everybody knows. So if you want to go ahead and copy some of those words or copy those words, and I guess I'll make this statement. I said I wouldn't do this, Bob, but I'll do it. If you want that Word document, then within 1 hour, send me a request. I will not send it immediately. I'll wait till I get everybody's request, and I'll send it to the people who ask me all at once. I don't want to just send that out there to a group of people who don't even know what it is, so I'm not going to do it that way. If you want it, send me an email at jpshoop@earthlink.net. Remember, here's how you send the request. In the body of the email, you put your name on the first line, your phone number on the second, your email on the third, and what are you requesting on the fourth line. If you do it like that, I will include you into a document, into an email where I will attach the document. and you can have that. But if you don't include your email and in that format, I'm not going to go looking for it. If you put your name and say, Joe, send it to me, I'm not doing it. It has to be in that format so I can copy your email very easily into the blind carbon copy so you get it. So please follow the instructions. It's 11:30 in the morning, so by 12:30 Eastern, if whoever has requested that, you'll get it. So with that, Mark, we'll go over to you. Bob, thanks for being here today. Always enjoy your expertise, your knowledge, your education, and we will certainly be back with you.
Thank you.
Great job, Bob. Thank you very much. I tell you, it's great stuff, and you know, I'm saying to the family, you need to really listen up. So go back and listen to the recording again, and you hear it 2 or 3 times. It'll kind of get in you, and it'll make a difference, because one of the ways that a person knows that you care is if you educate them, and that's what EdTech Worldwide is. We're an education company, and we're teaching people how to have a successful business from home, and also how to get their financial house in order. And that's what a lot of people need. So, Bob, thanks a lot for that. So, family, let's go out and make it a great day today. It's an exciting time. For those of you that don't know, I'll say this before we close. I told Joe yesterday, and if you got your company newsletter, you probably may know, but now in your back office, a person will be able to set up their automatic monthly plan, or they can set up an automatic weekly plan. So it's something good to know, because I have heard people say before, well, I don't want to have to worry about this, every week or whatever. I can't even do it every week. I can do it maybe every 2 weeks or once a month. So in other words, the company is putting the options there to help us, do more. So, I do appreciate that. So for those of you who don't know, it's there now, and you can go in your back office and see that.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to also make the announcement for tomorrow. Anson Ashby will be back with us tomorrow. We'll be covering Facebook and next week, Tuesday as well. And we will get beyond Facebook into LinkedIn. So, look, come and learn. Take the time to absorb this information and learn how to. I think we're going to get into the mechanics of how to actually set up that page for Facebook. So for those of you that don't know the basics of it, be here. For those that do, come in and get some more information and refresh your memory so that you can help others. So with that, Bob Coons, once again, thanks for being here. This is Joe Shoup with Mark Stevens. Hope you have a great day, everybody. Make it a great one, and we'll see you tomorrow at the Breakfast Club.
Peace and blessings, everyone.